Cade was dialed in, and the unfortunate part to me was, we talked about it at the halftime show, was, having JJ come in. I'm like, I would prefer not, because you got a quarterback who's at Steph Curry, like, on fire. Like, so leave him in. Like, that's the thing. Would you ever pull Steph out for Clay and just be like, hey, let's give Clay some run? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it's probably not a great analogy, but nonetheless, like, you have a guy who's dialed in,
feed the high hand
in the zone, and you're pulling him out. And JJ has had, and I'm not trying to pile on to the guy because he's a freshman. Like, he's young. You
man.
get out there,
it's tough.
You get limited plays. You want to make a play.
Yeah.
So when you get limited snaps, you want to make a play. But he's done this in the past where he's made poor run reads, where he's trying to keep the ball where he shouldn't. And, previously it hasn't been a disaster, but today it turned into fumbles. Like, the first fumble he had, that, thank goodness, went out of bounds. He had no business keeping that football. He should have given the ball away to your running back, your collectively Heisman Trophy, candidate running back room. And then the second one is a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. When you cannot have a turnover, you put in JJ to try to be cute or to play towards his ego, whatever the case may be. And this is the result. This is the result.
And the issue I have is, like, it made no sense. JJ just fumbled, the previous possession, led right to a touchdown for MSU taking the ball. MSU, scoring a touchdown, going up 37-33. Or maybe, no, I'm sorry. No, they didn't score on that drive. That was the first fumble. Michigan kicks a field goal, goes up 33-30. MSU gets the ball, and Michigan forces to stop. And then Michigan, I think it has at the 50-yard line or something like that, or maybe in their territory. And JJ starts off that series after almost fumbling. He did fumble, but fumbling the previous series, and he fumbles right away. And it made no sense whatsoever. And and
to me, like, sorry to cut you off, but there was no lull period where Cade wasn't playing well. Like, that's the frustrating part. Like, it's not as if, hey, he's missed his last 5 passes. Let's see if JJ can get us a spark. Cade was on the entire game.
Yeah.
He was on the whole entire game.
Yeah,
like, there was no, even in the first half, there was no reason to put JJ in the game. There was none. Like, outside of before the game, that, the plan is just on our third drive, we're going to put in JJ. Like, outside of that, there was no reason to put him in the game.
Yeah. No, and then you saw, like, tweets about Cade possibly being in medical tent. But here's why I can't give that an excuse, because if Cade was able to go out there literally the very next series, they should have enough wherewithal of, like, okay, Cade, maybe we need to check some things out real quick. Obviously, it wasn't serious. Maybe they wanted to check something out. I don't know, right? If that's the case, if that really did happen, there should have been an extremely conservative play. I don't know, man. That's tough. And
to me, I mean, on one side, I'd like to say because of hindsight, right? In hindsight, I'd like to say you call a timeout and get Cade back in. But at the same time, too, like, to think about, JJ has played. He's had a lot of game reps. Yeah. So it's not as if, this is a guy who's never been in the game. Like, he's had a lot of reps in the games, in games that are meaningful. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not as if this is a guy who's, a Bowman who's really never played any meaningful snaps here at Michigan. Like, JJ's done that. Like, it's tough, man. It's tough.
Just a comment that I just saw that I wanted to address, because Paulie say easy to say in hindsight not to rotate JJ in. No. Hey, I'm not saying JJ should not have played the rest of the game. I just believe that literally, the series before, when you kicked the field goal, he fumbled the ball.
He fumbled the
ball. Like, literally, that was his last time touching the football. He fumbled. And then they took him out, and then Michigan proceeds to kick a field goal. And he goes right back out. It's not like he fumbled the football, and in that same series, he got it back, and he did one more thing to kind of get that out of his mind, right? That was literally his last play. So he's a true freshman, man. By no means, Michigan fans, I'm not saying any people here would do it. Don't crush this kid. He's 18, 19 years old. He's young. That's a very, very, very tough tough situation to be in, right? And he's going to learn and grow from this. I just thought, and Des, you hit on it many times. The way Kate played today is one of those situations where you got to ride the hot hand and just let him go, let him go. And people are going to be all on JJ now and calling, probably saying some things that are just so unfair. And the only reason I'm very protective of him right now because he is a freshman for one, and two, that's a big situation. And three, to be honest, from a coaching standpoint, I don't think he should have been. Once it was established that this was Cade's game, he should have been roll. He should have been rolling. That's it. And
it's a hot hand. Like roll with the
he
hot
has a hot
hand.
hand.
It to me that's easy. Like that's the easy part of this. It's just like Cade's dialed in. Like let's just roll with him. Like I get it. Like the thing is, and forgive me because I don't have their schedule handy, but next week is not the big game. You know what I mean? So next week would be plenty of opportunity to give JJ plenty of reps. Like now's not the time. These are the big games. We cannot mess around with these. You got to have these. You got to have them. Like, so
but I see a lot of people using, bringing up, well, there's still a chance, the schedule, refs and all this stuff, guys. This is one of those games where it hurts. It should hurt. And you're just going to have to take it. I don't like this. I really don't. But there's it's supposed to hurt.